super glad to have a very interesting talk today. I hope you guys are excited as I am. So today we have Serj Hunt with us, and he's the founder of City as a School, and he will talk about how kids and perhaps we adults can use artificial intelligence to learn and prepare for the future. So Serj and I worked together on a project a couple years ago, so we used to have lots of Zoom meetings. So really glad to have him here. Let me give you a little background. Serj claims that AI isn't disrupting education, it's disrupting the industrial model of education. So let's talk about what's next. What will the post-industrial education look like and feel? And Serj, I totally agree with you. I recently gave a talk at the Bansko Nomad Fest a few months ago about worldschooling, but there was another talk by a woman named Monica, and she shared dozens and dozens of AI tools to boost work productivity, right? And after the presentation, I mean, I already knew this, but I just definitely thought, I had that thought, this is totally making the traditional education obsolete, you know? And of course, Google and calculators and all these other tools did that as well. But now with AI, we're at this next level. And, you know, it makes you question, I hope it makes people question, what is the purpose of, you know, the traditional school system? And why is it still the way it is? So I'm really glad to have you here today. So everyone, Serj is going to be demoing a new AI tool called ARC, and hopefully you will explain what that means. So Serj and his team have been working on that for a while. It will give kids an AI co-pilot, I guess like a learning coach, to help kids learn what they want, create amazing projects, and build a career of their dreams. City as a School is a new program for ages 14 plus that offers live online classes and even in-person classes in London, UK, where Serj is right now, and New York City, based on a teen's interests. So this is self-directed learning. And kids can build a portfolio and they get matched to jobs and internships in the future. So that's exciting. So I'm really psyched to have Serj here today to learn more about these innovative tools in online learning and to find out how AI can help world school kids in particular, and of course, homeschool, unschool, and regular school kids, then, you know, help them learn and therefore, I hope, to be better prepared for the future than sticking with the antiquated and industrial model of education. So Serj, super glad to have you. Thank you. How are you doing?
I'm great. Thanks, Liz. Thank you for having me.
Really great to have you here again. And I mentioned to you that I have a 12-week course plus a free master class that's coming up soon on September 19th that goes over how to travel extensively as a family with kids. And the last 7 weeks, we focus on how kids can learn while they world school. So I have a free video that many people have seen on the top 6 ways kids can learn. We have homeschooling, online schools, in-person schools around the world, hiring nannies, tutors, and teachers, world school hubs, and self-directed learning. So then the last week of the course is focused on the future of world schoolers and the future of education. So I just finished up that cohort. So we're a little week late, but better late than never, because I know that you're busy and you were busy last week. So I'm really glad to have you here. And I have created a list of over 70 online schools for the participants of my course, and City as a School, I just put you guys on there. I put you on a few months ago. Awesome. And I think it's one of the newer and more interesting and innovative ones, especially due to your new AI tool. So I'm really glad to have you here, and you can share with us and demo. You're going to give a presentation about how this works. So take it away, Serj. Go ahead and introduce yourself. And if you want to share your screen, you are hopefully able to.
I will try sharing my screen and let's get into it.
Awesome.
Awesome. Cool. I hope you can all see this. I'll go into presenter mode 2 seconds. Nice. So hi guys, welcome to my presentation. As advertised, we're talking about how AI is impacting education and the future of education. I'm the founder of City as a School, which is essentially a marketplace for discovering live learning centers around the world in your city, and also online courses. One thing that stood out to us when AI was coming into the scene was actually this is humanizing education in a really interesting way. Teachers are expected to do so much, parents are expected to do so much. You can't be an expert in every topic, but with AI in your pocket, there's much more that's possible where project-based learning, self-directed learning is becoming a very casual part of everyone's life now. It's not this weird sort of on the fringe thing. It's something you can do just by opening up an AI Copilot, which is what we've been building at Cedars School. So we'll get into that soon. Before demoing Arc, which is our new AI Copilot, I want to just set up some theory, some kind of implications for AI in education, which I don't think many people are talking about. To leave you with some big ideas, get the sort of the cogs turning, and then we'll go into a demo of Arc and how that can support the young people that you work with or your children. So there's a really big article called Super History versus Super Intelligence by Rao Venkatesh, and this is a quick section from it. AI is not a young technology. Properly understood in terms of their native temporalities, in terms of super historical training, time logged, they're ancient technologies. They're already older than the oldest human-made artifacts in terms of historical experiences logged and digested. The pyramids of Egypt are mere babies compared to, say, ChatGPT. And we're figuring out how to attach this logged artificial time to our own brains and learning to act like ancient gods ourselves. So over here in the right, you'll see the normal frame of thinking of AI is that it's artificial intelligence. I'm saying that we should be thinking about this frame of super history, which is this huge blob of just pure data that's been computed over time, over these huge time frames. Short human timeframes, but in relative scale, it's massive. There's our collective human history, and we're sticking human brains onto the end of this and saying, great, now go figure out how to learn and live in that context. And the implication of that is that humans are becoming centaurs. Centaurs in AI and technology refer to hybrid systems where both human intuition and machine computational speeds and memory combine. In chess, you have centaur teams, and these are teams of humans and computer players who outperform both solely the human players and solely computer algorithms. So this is very interesting because everyone thinks, AI superintelligence is going to take over, will be replaced, humans are out of a job. But actually, there's this very interesting intersection of human intelligence that's augmented by AI intelligence to produce centaurs. And in some way, your children are becoming centaurs. You're also a centaur, and I'll get into that in a second. From this frame, we can say something kind of wild, like Magnus Carlsen, a chess grandmaster, is 200 years old. That's kind of a wild claim, but what do I mean by that? So for those of you that have used Google search for 22 years, you're already likely 100 years older than your biological age. You've been living in super history. I've just seen Liz kind of shriek at that, but there's something to this. We might have a data age and a biological age. And every year lived with Google at your fingertips is like 5 lived within the limits of paper books. So someone who's just lived within paper books has not seen as much computed history as someone who's lived in Google, versus now someone who's lived in the context of ChatGPT. So this is getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and your data age might be bigger than your biological age. And another quote from the article, in many ways, I feel older than my father, who's 86. I know the world in much richer machine-augmented ways than he does, even though I don't have a prosthetic device attached to my skull. I'm not smarter than him, I've just data-aged more than him. From the same author. So Magnus Carlsen is 32 biological years old, but it might also be 200 data years old, and so might your children. It's worth considering why they have these amazing intuitions about the world and wild ability to comprehend large concepts now with their data age versus their biological age. 2 more slides before we get into the demo. There's this interesting thing happening in education, and this is the real implication of this in education. Previously, human institutions had human cultural knowledge transfer. So as a human to a human to a human in a wisdom lineage or your university professor, and at each stage you get bias and distortion. You have to get the biases and the preferences of someone who's older than you. And this is kind of the bottleneck for human knowledge transfer. You get books and you kind of change that a little bit, but AI is having a massive implication for this knowledge transfer. If you interact with tools like ChatGPT, you're accelerating your data aging. And then basically working with these tools is removing this bottleneck of human to human knowledge transfer. And the distinction between merely existing and profoundly learning is narrowing. What do I mean by that? So if you imagine a young person, there's this little girl here, says, oh, what is this bug? This is genuine wonder. This is kind of excitement for the world, curiosity sparking off. We talk about bias, and there is massive bias issues with artificial intelligence right now. But there's also bias in what we already have. There's teachers, the coaches you have, the mentors you have. You might get the bad straw and have a teacher who says, who only believes that you don't need to learn about bugs. You don't need to know about that for the exams. Forget about it. And if that's your draw, that's it. Game over. The bug is not interesting to you. The wonder, the curiosity dies. But if a young person is growing up in the context of super history, meaning the collective knowledge of all human, the collective amalgamation of all human knowledge, that wonder, that curiosity might be sparked and rolled into other questions like, did you know it might be a caterpillar, it might be a butterfly, butterflies come from caterpillars, check out this other bug. And that curiosity, that wonder can extend further and further. So this is really the big implication for all of our institutions. It's also the big implication for you as parents. Your children will be interacting with something that is very different to coming from a human to human lineage. So this is the real opportunity for you guys as world schoolers, homeschoolers, unschoolers, is that you hopefully participate in some enabling culture of wisdom. Technology is not the blocker anymore. Culture is. I've tried selling stuff into schools. I actually work with using ARC in schools, and enabling cultures are the most important thing right now. In the next 5 years, I predict that something like the turning ideas into reality will decrease in time by about 80% in all areas. So between having the thought of, I want to make a video game, and it coming into existence will be 80% shorter in the next 5 years. So if what and how to build something is not a question, the why and the wisdom to think through, should we build this thing, is far more important. And that is the big task of parents and educators all over the world right now. Cool. Here's my quick suggestions to make this tactical. If you like AI in education or are open to exploring it, here's my sort of top picks besides ARC, which I'll demo after this. Synthesis has a tutor. Perplexity AI gives you factful, on-point answers instead of Google, which gives you a bunch of rubbish most times. Elicit, this is asking, has been trained on scientific papers, so you can discover and learn by asking questions of all of the scientific papers we've produced. ChatGPT, as everybody knows, and Study with 2Ds to do maths and sort of more national curriculum type stuff. Cool. So that's the theory. I think we've got enough time just to demo it. Liz, shall I get on with that?
Hi. Yeah, that was amazing, Serj, for what's available. Thank you for that list, and we're going to deep dive into those sites. So this is have we got into ARC yet, or you're just kind of giving us a
transition into ARC now, okay. And yeah, demo it. Would that be okay?
Yeah, no, we're ready for that. So thank you for giving us a good overview of all of this.
Fab. Okay. So ARC's being born out of this context that the world's changing very quick, and schools, universities can't catch up. If you're lucky, you go and attend a boot camp, which will cost you a lot, and it's a high time commitment. But really, we can't update curriculum as quickly as we need to. We might need something that moves faster and keeps pace with that. For most of the young people that we work with, we have these main pain points. Help me discover relevant and ideal career pathways in a bite-sized way so I can explore my passion. Help me build a portfolio of skills and access opportunities, and help me connect with inspiring friends and industry mentors in the field. So that's what we're really trying to address with ARC. And ARC is an AI co-pilot that reverse engineers job descriptions and project briefs into personalized learning pathways to prepare young people for the future of work. And I'm going to show you how it works. I'm actually going to pull up something I've used earlier. So there's a couple ways to use Arc, but there's really one core feature that we've built right now, with more coming very soon. The first is, let's say you're learning on YouTube. So I have my YouTube window open, and I could have Arc open on the left here, just ready to go. Let's say I get inspired by this MIT video that I'm watching on airplane aerodynamics, and I want to become a airplane engineer. What I'll do is I have these different commands that I can tell Arc to do as my co-pilot. So I'll click job description to pathway and type in airplane engineer. And I can give it a job title like that, or I could actually get a job description from Boeing or something and copy and paste that job description to get much more accurate answers. But let's just go with airplane engineer as a broad category of thing that I might be interested in and a career opportunity that I want to explore. We're hoping to build Arc as also a Chrome extension. So it will kind of live just on the side of your browser window. As you're using the web, you can use it to kind of summarize things in a similar way that I have all these other tools that are summarizing things, but specifically around learning and learning as you're going through the web, watching YouTube, and turning the web into your textbook, basically. So what Arc's busy doing is it's building a pathway to become an airplane engineer. And it's going to take a little bit because it's moving, it's generating a bunch of text, which it needs to show on our side. And this learning pathway is going to have 5 different modules. Those 5 modules are going to start from first principles and then move into higher complexity. So the 5th principle, sorry, the 5th module will kind of have teamwork and project management, whereas the first module will have stuff like lift and airplane engineering dynamics and like pure fundamentals. Let's see if this generates quick enough. I'm going to reload it. Come on, Arc. Let's give it a quick refresh.
Can you explain also why you have the YouTube video next to it? I mean, is the Arc connected to it? Is it reading it?
So it's not currently connected. We'll be building a Chrome extension so that it is actually just visible next to YouTube. It's more next to YouTube in the same way that a young person who's at school would have, I don't know, their LMS open, or maybe you're on Khan Academy, like whatever it is that you learn from will just be open on one side. That's why it's kind of like a co-pilot. It like sits next to working on.
I guess the internet's slow today, or AI is slow today.
ChatGPT is slow today, or come on web. Let's try a different job description, eh?
Maybe something simpler.
That is the most fun part about it, though, is that some people really do try to test it with more complex things, like, I don't know, I've seen horse riding put into this, which has been really fun. Ice hockey, like physical sports. They'll often come up with like actually pro hockey players who put it in and said, oh, this has got all the fundamentals I would need to coach someone on, at least at a concept level. Obviously, you then need to go and be a good hockey player and practice a lot.
Right.
Testing. Something is working here. No. Oh, here we go. Okay, great. We're good. Just a little sleep today. Let's close that. Great. Okay, cool. So not airplane engineering, but software engineering. What's gone on here is that we have all these recommended classes from the City as a School marketplace. So these are classes that we have already in our marketplace, and hopefully as well, like our partners, hopefully we'll list Outschool stuff on here. We'll list Coursera, Udemy, all that kind of stuff as well. But then also something to note is that we've broken down software engineering into 5 modules. The first principles being these, like variables, control flow, error handling, functions and modules, some core skills. And as you can see, it gets into more complex things like web development, front end, back end. Then module 5 will be things like team management and like how to like work with groups. So this is less about the fundamental principles. ARC is then also going out and getting free resources from the internet. So if your child wants to learn about software development, then here's a bunch of videos, Coursera courses about the topic to give you that, to save you that time from having to go and search yourself. So you can try anything here. The horse riding example actually had some great results. Loads of beginner stuff on like how to tack a horse, like how to clean hooves, different, saddle positions, all these kinds of things. It's really good fun. So we're gathering free resources, we're showing you paid stuff. But what's also fun is that, let's say I want to learn about these subjects in a chat format. I can open up the AI tutor, and this is going to set up a dialogue with the AI tutor. So, teachers and parents can't be expected to be the subject matter expert in everything. So here we are talking to ARC, basically saying, hey, I want to learn about what are variables? And it's being passed these concepts from that module, so it understands the kinds of stuff and the career that you're trying to go towards. Great, variables are important. Are you a high school student? Are you a college student or a professional? I'm a high school student. So this is going to be personalizing the conversation to my level and my previous knowledge. Can you explain to me what you already understand of variables? They're kind of like things that you can change, right? So you get the idea. There's at least a conversational format for you to try and understand concepts, debate with someone, and learn through a dialogue format. So as you can see, I'm learning about variables now. We also have suggested questions. So this is supporting inquiry-based learning. If part of asking good questions is seeing good questions. And so we've done some hard work to prompt engineer to say, how do you get the underlying structure of knowledge here? To ask some really great follow-up questions. Let's just put that into the chat, and that's going to, again, continue the conversation with some great questions that help me go deeper. So
that's a really helpful thing that it suggests questions to ask it next.
Yeah, absolutely. So we found some people were getting stuck, and they were, their curiosity can go so far, and so we're trying to like nudge that curiosity just another smidge, right? So yeah, that's the core flow. You have job descriptions to pathways, so you get that what you just saw. Gathering all those that free content from around the web. Again, at this level, I can find more free resources that are just specifically about those core concepts that I found before. And that's true for, if I go upper level, it's true for the next module, it's true for the next module. So there's always resources for those searching for those concepts. And then you've got other things you can kind of do off of ARC. We call these commands now, not tasks. Like find me job opportunities. So you say, I want to find software engineer roles in London. I want to have the AI tutor, which you've already seen, help me explain concepts simply. Find me mentors. And this will basically go to the Cities of School platform and find mentors. And these are humans that you can go and interact with and book time with. So this is how the technology is extending into the real world, if you will. So that's the explore side of things. Where we're moving to next with ARC is this. See if this reloads. We frame learning as a sort of two core parts. There's an explore problem, and then there's the exploit problem. So explore your passions and then go and build and do and put things into the world. We found that project-based learning is a very difficult thing for teachers who have never built projects to do. So we're trying to decrease the cost to implement project-based learning. But you as world schoolers and homeschoolers are totally way better at like scoping projects. And we want to make that even easier. So let's imagine that your child or the young people that you work with have these portfolios. There's already the previous interface that you've seen before. So that will still be within ARC. We're just adding some more things. So first thing is this portfolio. My portfolio basically has all the projects that I've been working on, all the images that I can share with employers and collaborators, universities, whatever it is that you're going for. If I want to create a new project, I click plus. I add the project one-liner or the problem that I'm trying to solve. I say, is it a web app? Is it an event that I'm running? Is it hardware? Is it software? Is it a video game? I also try and scope some features that I need to have in the last product, in the final product. Like it needs to have, I don't know, user sign-in stuff. It needs to be shareable to Twitter, or my event needs to last for an hour. So this is kind of constraining the project. A little bit about the purpose, like why do you want to do this project? Some timelines, you hit continue, hit generate project, and this will generate this, this note. So this note is similar to anyone who uses Notion or Apple Notes or Evernote. It's a place that you can write and add images. You can change the title. It's like a normal note. But the AI has gone and done some amazing things. So Arc will basically suggest the first 9 to-dos, well, the overarching 9 to-dos to complete this project. So this is great because then you have a clear sense of like, oh yeah, I kind of need to do these things. If they're wrong, you just go into them and change the title because silly robot doesn't get everything right. Or if you want to add a new task, you just add a new task and you can do that. You might have noticed at the to-do level, there is the same interface from Arc. So we've been exploring and now we want to exploit, we want to build. And Arc will actually be able to execute on some of these tasks for you. So if it's a task that can be done by a machine, it suggests like, I can go and do this. I can go write a website copy. I can go and scope the description for your event, these kinds of things. And so we're trying to speed up the rate at which ideas turn into reality. And young people can say, this is what I did to complete that project. I did it super quick. I want to share that with my network. I want to add some skills hashtags. I learned some web development, gym, these kinds of things. Share it on my socials, hit publish. And then there's the final article that I can share with my employers, my collaborators, whoever needs to see it at the end of the day. So that's where we're going with Arc. I'm super excited to share just the AI Copilot, the Explore side with you guys. That's free to access at arc.cityasaschool.com. You can go have a play with that and explore careers. And then give me 2 weeks time, you'll have the portfolio generator, which will allow you to build the projects of your dreams.
Serj, amazing, amazing. This is really incredible. And it not only can help you learn things and tell you what you should learn, right? Whether it's free or paid, and there's a lot of free stuff out there, but it also helps you organize your learning and have the task list. That is so helpful. That helps parents or any learning coach or teacher, how to help their students have an individualized way to learn what they're interested in. So I'm so excited about that. I have a question about that app. So is it mobile and desktop?
Yeah, so it's a web-based app, which means it will just shrink if you're on mobile, and if you're on desktop, it's wide. Yeah. Amazing,
amazing. Yeah, I mean, I've used ChatGPT a little bit and a couple other AI stuff, but to learn, and I keep trying to get my kids to do this, and I want them to tinker. We're going to sign up. So you said that it's free, and then how long is it going to be free? Because I know it's in beta, so you want people to start using it. And I hope my group will, sign up and take advantage of this free resource. But can you let us know, like in the future, what your plans are for this tool?
Yeah, totally. So Arc will be free for 50 tasks, for 50 calls a month. So generating a pathway, that's one call. And having an AI tutor, that's another call. So there's certain things you can do, like generating one project is another call, and that will sort of decrease the amount of things you can do. After 50 a month, then you basically pay for like a pack of 10 tokens. We haven't figured out the pricing for that. So for now, you could expect for at least the next year for this to be totally free. But that's the kind of pricing model we're looking at coming up. So free for a very long time. Yeah, please type in the chat in our Zoom, the website, and then I'll copy and paste it into the Facebook group chat because we already have people asking for the link. And Esther, who's watching from Bend, Oregon, she said, this is incredibly advanced, Serj, very cool.
Yeah, so I agree. And, you know, here, let me copy and paste it. But so again, this is all very new, and I know you're trying to raise funding, and I hope that's going well, because this is the future. And I think, you know, because we can find learning coaches out there, and obviously there's online schools like the one you and I used to work for. And, you know, I think some parents want to homeschool and do everything for the kids. Other parents want to unschool and let their kids self-direct their learning and facilitate it. So this is the kind of nice, this works for both of them, you know, so the parent can help facilitate this and find out what the kids are interested in. And it's not just for jobs. I'm sure you can use AI for, you know, we're going to Greece soon. Tell us about, you know, what, like, let's pretend we're going to become an archaeologist in Greece, and or whatever. And just so it will tell the kids, I know city has a schools for 14 plus, but I'm guessing younger kids can use this just as they travel and use the world as their classroom, and just put in these prompts like, I want to be an archaeologist in Greece, and tell me about the main sites that I should know about. And then of course we World School families would go visit those sites in real life, right, in person. So I think this is fantastic, not just for teens who are ready to, you know, launch into careers. And again, I want to ask your question about university, what your thoughts are, because is this basically a replacement for university? Or
that's a good question. Yeah, like so something that let me just type this in, cognitive.
And I want to ask people who are watching, got several people, please help me ask Serj questions, because this is so new. I don't even know the questions to ask you. So please help me ask him questions.
So I don't think that, so there's different tracks. I really think there's kind of different, there's a limited number. There is unlimited paths in the world, but there's really a couple main tracks. Cognitive science. So, you know, if you're going to go and do a PhD, I actually think this helps you get clear on like what it is you want to do before university, right? Like it doesn't have to be job oriented. I'm just working on with ARC in the background as we're talking. You know, I'm very interested in cognitive science. I fully intend to go back and do a like master's and PhD in cognitive science. I'm using this to study and you know, discover more of the field, to learn about the core concepts before I go to university, where I can just like not focus about the text, but actually get on with, you know, research. So you know, it's entirely useful for while you're at university to help you get into university. But you know, full replacement, I don't know. I think you know the reason to go is a social experience, and you need labs and heavy equipment. You know, I went to university just because they had $1 million facilities. You know, so yeah, I think it's the kind of thing to bring as a co-pilot to university, or to help you think about which university you want to go to. And we haven't had Raya from School of Humanity was like, well, what if you could suggest universities to go to? I was like, it might be on the list, but it's not the top of our priority right now. So, but we'll see if that's something your audience are all like, we need to figure out university pathways. Then sure, let's figure it out.
Yeah. Again, because you know, I think it really depends on what career path you want. Because some do, you have to go to university for certain professions, but you know, to be an entrepreneur or a lot of creative professions or whatever, there's certain things you don't need to go to university. It's better to have work experience. And even a lot of tech jobs, you know, Google now doesn't require a degree to work there. They just want to see your work, and you come in and do tests and stuff. So that's amazing. So you have the learning co-pilot. And then you have, they suggest the content to learn, right? And then you have a task list, a checklist, right? Do you think this will help kids be accountable for their learning? You know, because like progressing, because some kids will, oh, this is great. And then they kind of get distracted and don't do the things they're supposed to do. I don't know. How can you?
So I think there's a couple ways to scaffold it, right? And what we're finding is, you know, different cultures will think about accountability differently. And, you know, I'm going to talk about kids who are not super motivated already. Like there's some learners who use ARC and they will just they're like, yes, I'm going to try and learn everything and then come back to you next week and tell you about what I learned. More than anything, like that list, like I'm just going to show you the list again. I've just typed in cognitive science. Like this is a great thing for parents and young people to kind of talk about and just talk through. And I've seen coaches do this where they go like, do you know what's attention? You know, what do you know about language? And kind of like mark, yeah, I know that a bit, or, you know, I need more support here. So that's great for like scaffolding, like what you do and don't know in a conversational format. What we're finding with Brave Generation Academy, who we're piloting with, is that, you know, their coaches set goals with their learners. So they're actually called a learning coach. That's their like role. And the thing they loved the explore part, but they said, you know, as soon as the to-do list is there, we're all on it. We want to have a view where the coach can see just the to-dos. So like they don't get access to everything.
Or the parent, maybe,
or the parent, exactly.
Who's held.
And so it's like, you know, those are my to-dos. I'm going to get them done by this week. We can co-set the deadlines and stuff. And so I really think it's going to help with accountability there. And the final thing is just that there's also the token system is funny because it's both like what you'll pay for to use the app more. But you can actually, we're exploring like, can you get more tokens for doing a certain action, like completing 5 to-dos in a day? Like if you do lots of to-dos, there's a small way of gamifying it. We haven't fully fleshed that out, but
yeah, I mean, Khan Academy, you earn badges and whatever for getting to a certain level. So Mindy is saying, this is impressive. Congrats. I have a few questions. I see that there are links to real world classes, mostly in London. And you said you're starting to have some in New York and Brooklyn or wherever. Will that expand? And you just mentioned Brave Generation Academy. So that's like a different, which I'll mention in a second. Also, is there any mentorship aspect of the app for self-directed learners? So again, that's my question too, like the accountability thing. But Mindy, their Serj City as a School is partnering with Brave Generation Academy that has physical micro schools in Portugal and a bunch of other countries. They're growing. I met with I went and saw a couple of them when we were in Portugal a year and a half ago and met the CEO. So at that time, they were using, for the first part of the day, the kids would come like 20, 25 kids. And I think it's what, age 12 plus. They would be going through this Cambridge curriculum on a computer at the micro school. And then the second half of the day, the learning coaches, and one's kind of math focus and the other one's language arts focus, would help the kids do their self-directed learning projects. So you're saying that you're coming in and light went off. We can still see you though.
Yeah, that's cool. Okay.
Anyway, it's fine. Anyway, so you're saying that you're partnering with them, and how is that going to change their offering?
It's just
I guess they're closing down for the night.
Yeah, I'll move and keep talking. It's all right.
It's okay. We can still see you.
Oh, here we go. It's an auto thing.
Yeah.
So, you know, so that it's not necessarily changing their offering, but making their current offering more fluid.
Okay.
Right. They're just doing it more with our technology. The main partner, like in terms of accountability, the next collaboration that we have on the radar is the Socratic Experience, because you know Michael Strong's stuff. Yeah,
I plan to interview them in the future.
Oh yeah, please do interview Michael. He's by far the most thoughtful person about liberating young people from the dread of sitting and doing exams. He's very vocal about it. So yeah, Michael has developed already like really solid like coaching pedagogy at the Socratic Experience. They do this like for 30 days, 30 minutes twice a week, coach check-ins. And we're looking at how we can use ARC as part of their offering and scale our coaching with them as a partner, if that makes sense. So getting ARC also means perhaps getting a Socratic Experience coach. And that's where the accountability is going to come in, is that you'll have someone trained by Michael and their team, but ARC will be the scaffold for the to-dos and the finding resources on the web.
Got it. All right. So your classes that you have in London and in New York, I don't know, I think they were like $15 to $18 or something, or pounds, I can't remember. And then a year and a half ago, the tuition for Brave Generation Academy was about €400 a month, something like that. Maybe the prices have gone up. because of inflation. And then I don't know the pricing for a Socratic experience, but again, I just want to encourage people. You don't have to keep your kids in a traditional school in your hometown. Pull them out. If you work remotely, then you can start traveling the world and world schooling them, and they can go out in the world and see things in real life. And then for some of the learning, especially for the teens, maybe you can do a short-term enrollment in some of these micro schools, and then the online thing with Socratic experience and City as a school. You can mix it up, and then with this AI tool, it'll help you kind of keep it all together, and kind of help the kids have a plan, right? And I'm like, what else is missing? I mean, the other thing is socialization, right? And we have world school hubs around the world and just communities. And then you have again, it's classes at City as a school. So kids are able, especially teens, a lot of world school families will do it for a while, and then once their kids become teens, they want to go back to high school, because they want to be around more teens. So now luckily there's world school pop-up hubs. I interviewed that organization with teens sometimes, and there's teen hubs within a world school hub. So you just have to search around, and I have a list in my course. I have to change it all the time because it's always changing. The hubs are pop-ups, or they move around the world. It's hard to keep up.
Sure.
But what did you want to add to that, Serj?
Yeah, it was just on the socialization, depending on the age, obviously, right? Like younger groups, this doesn't make as much sense. Something that we're exploring for 16 upwards is WeWork memberships for learners at City as a school. Okay. It's just the simplest way to use the city as a campus. You can basically have 100 sites all over London or any major city. The base package starts at 149. There's then 350 or something from WeWork, but we're looking at exploring a partnership with WeWork to enable that. And just another way to think about it, right, is actually get all the teens in your area to have WeWork memberships, and they can work together in a pretty cozy Wi-Fi.
You are in a WeWork facility right now, so everyone can see what it looks like. And again, parents who work remotely, we can be there. I mean, my twins are 14, so I have gone to co-working spaces. I didn't really do that much when they were younger. I don't even know the age limit for kids, because co-working spaces don't want young, loud kids. I know that.
Yeah.
But if you have a teenager who's got their computer and they're working on their learning work, they can do that, or start trying to do online work themselves. For example, becoming a VA, like I'm trying to get my daughter to help me with my stuff, and then I can get my work done too. And then we can meet other digital nomads, right, and other remote workers. So win-win-win. I think that's awesome. Okay, I just want to see if anyone has any other questions. We have your website here, Serj. Any other social media posts? I know you post on LinkedIn and Twitter, and do you want to put that in the chat maybe, and then I can put that so people can start following you? I mean, guys, Serj is very innovative. Tell us a little bit more about your background and how you got into this as a business and as a career.
Sure, yeah. It was a real wiggly road, but I'll try and sum it up in a couple of inflection points. At some point, I was making audio software, so I always wanted to make technology to help people be more creative. I made gloves that manipulated sound, so when you close your hands, it changes the different synthesizers. And then geodomes that have plants in, so when you touch the plants, it plays music and all these different things. So I really cared about music and technology. I met Ruth Crick, who is the UK's leading learning scientist on self-directed learning and agency. And she became a mentor to me. I bumped into her at a hackathon, which has nothing to do with like my university course. It was to solve a housing crisis in Bristol, where I'm from in the UK. So go to more hackathons, you'll meet crazy cool people there. Bumped into Ruth, she became a mentor, started working on research for self-directed learning and an agency, built a psychometric self-assessment for supporting agency and a coaching method to support that. Then I went into sort of corporate L&D, which then brought me to like user interface design, user experience design, product, creating websites. And I started making websites sort of on the side, and then realized, hey, there's like a whole business here. I should just make websites for more people. That was great. And that kind of got me into this world of thinking about how to use technology to support agency self-directed learning, yeah, working at various ed tech companies, and now starting my own company now to bring this to a broader audience. So yeah, that's the high level of the journey.
That's amazing. I know when we had worked on that project before, it was about hybrid learning. And so you're making it happen with your classes in London and New York. Do you plan to expand to other cities? And what is I mean, other than ARC, this amazing tool, what is your business plan?
Yeah. Okay. Business plan. Here we go. So if you go to City as a School and the marketplace, you'll notice that the classes are probably a bit old. We were busy validating, basically proving that we could do this marketplace approach to learning of in-person and online learning. And what we've decided to shift our attention to is working at the state level to secure contracts with both the government level and also industry players, where our first contract looks like it's going to be in Ohio. Ohio is a very unsuspecting place, but if you don't know, Ohio and it's Pennsylvania next to it, yes, are basically the industry capital, industry hubs of the US. Honda, Intel, Amazon, Google are all moving their stuff back to Ohio and Pennsylvania. So they need new infrastructure to train the next workforce, to train young people to get into these new tech jobs that are all there and hardware jobs. So this is kind of the approach we're taking. We're going to take it state by state and secure large contracts like that. We still will allow people to come and teach on our platform, like go for it. And that functionality will still be there, but we'll kind of like section off various parts for like Ohio can only see Ohio because this is like a project. And then we need to figure out like, okay, cool, what can work between the different states as we go state by state, country by country.
Okay, so you're not trying to be another OutSchool.
No, yeah, I guess OutSchool is all remote and not career focused, isn't it? Yeah.
Right. Well, true. I interviewed somebody from OutSchool a few months ago. So if anyone wants to watch that video, dig through my guide section of the Facebook group, and I eventually repost these videos on YouTube. I'm a little slow. Anyway, cool. All right. So I put your Twitter handle, I put your Twitter with your, because you put twitter.com, but I put your Serj Hunt _art on there. So that's the best way people can reach you, because I don't know if you're in my Facebook group, but if people have questions, best to go to Twitter and ask you there, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. Twitter is where I'm most at, or you can type in Serj Hunt on LinkedIn as well. Happy to connect there.
Okay, amazing. Well, I wish you tons of luck, Serj. I mean, I don't think you need it. I hope it goes well. I hope your funding goes well and you continue to, make really innovative tools to help kids around the world and adults that are retraining for a job, but especially Worldschool families. And it's not just the kids, like parents can use it too. I have a lot of parents coming to join my group, and they work in a more traditional brick and mortar job, and they're trying to transition to be a digital nomad. So this could help them, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Maybe like teach me how to become an online copywriter or something, right?
Digital marketing, just type in digital marketer in there, see what comes up.
Exactly. Cool. Well, that is awesome. So yeah, this is great for both kids and adults. So thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me, Liz. It's been great fun.
Awesome.
Okay. Bye, guys.
Hey, thanks for watching. I'm Lizz Quain. My twins and I have been traveling and world schooling for about 7 years, and I'm happy to share our experiences. Make sure to check out all the other videos on my channel. I have a playlist of interviews of fascinating world school families and service providers who share lots of info and wisdom about world schooling, traveling, and the digital nomad family lifestyle. If you're new to world schooling or have recently launched and are struggling because you're kind of winging it, if you need some help, I do have a super comprehensive 12-week program on how to world school and travel extensively as a family. I share lots of info on travel logistics, where to go, how to find community, how to immerse yourself into local cultures, and the variety of ways to educate your kids while traveling above and beyond homeschooling them yourself, and much, much more. Make sure to watch my free 2-hour masterclass on how to become a world schooling trailblazing family. That is a great way to learn how to get started. I'll include a link in the description with more info. Thanks and happy trails.